The night was quiet in Arin's small town. The streets were empty, and the only sound was the soft hum of crickets outside his window. Arin sat on his bed, staring at the ceiling. His notebook lay open beside him, filled with small sketches of stars and strange symbols he liked to draw when he could not sleep. He often wondered about the universe. Were humans alone? Did other worlds hold life? These thoughts always filled his head at night. His friends laughed at his questions, calling them daydreams. But Arin could not stop thinking about the sky. Suddenly, the air in his room grew colder. The light from his small lamp flickered. Arin sat up quickly, looking around. His window was shut, yet the curtains moved as if touched by wind. His heart raced. Then, in the corner of the room, light shimmered. It grew brighter, forming the shape of a person. A girl stood there, glowing softly. Her eyes shone like stars, her hair moved as if floating in water, and her clothes were unlike anything Arin had ever seen. Arin froze, his voice stuck in his throat. The girl looked at him with calm eyes. Then she smiled, not cruelly, not kindly, but in a way that felt ancient, as if she knew secrets beyond his imagination. Arin whispered, Who are you?" The girl tilted her head slightly. Her voice was clear, almost musical. "I am Lyra. I come from far beyond your stars." Arin could hardly believe it. His heart pounded. An alien right here in his room. His mind screamed to run, but his body stayed frozen. Lyra stepped closer, her glow filling the room. "Do not be afraid. I did not come to harm you. I came because you must know the truth." Arin swallowed hard. "The truth?" She nodded. "Your world believes it is safe, but danger is already moving through the void. An old enemy has awakened. Soon they will come here." Arin blinked, trying to understand. "What enemy? Why here?" Lyra's glowing eyes softened. "Because your world is young, unprepared, and easy to take. The Valor feed on such worlds. They do not ask, they do not share. They take until nothing is left." Arin's chest tightened. He thought about his town, his family, the people living their lives without any idea of what might be above them. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. Lyra's expression grew serious. "Because you must choose to see. Many of your kind will refuse to believe. But you are different. You wonder. You listen. That is why I came." Arin shook his head slowly. "I'm just a boy. What can I do?" She reached into the air, and suddenly a small crystal appeared in her hand. It glowed with soft blue light. She placed it on his desk. "This is a memory stone," she said. "It carries the history of my people. Through it, you will see what has been and what is coming." Arin stared at the crystal, unsure if he should touch it. His hand trembled as he reached out. The moment his fingers touched the surface, his room disappeared. He saw stars, thousands of them, swirling around him. He saw worlds filled with forests, oceans, and cities of shining towers. Then, in a flash, he saw darkness. Black ships shaped like blades tore across the sky, destroying everything in their path. Cities burned, oceans boiled, and voices screamed. The vision ended, and Arin gasped for air. He was back in his room, the crystal glowing faintly on the chair desk. "That is the Valor," Lyra said softly. "That is what they bring." Arin's voice shook. "How can we stop them?" "You will not be alone," Lyra replied. "Others will be chosen. Together, you may stand against them, but you must accept the path." Arin looked at her with wide eyes. "And if I don't? Then your world will fall without a fight," she said simply. Silence filled the room. Arin felt the weight of her words pressing on his chest. He wanted to say no, to refuse, to go back to being a normal boy. But deep inside, he knew he could not ignore this. Finally, he whispered, Listen, I'll try." For the first time, Lyra's smile softened. "Good. Then hope remains." She stepped back, her glow fading. "I will return when you are ready for more. Until then, keep the stone safe. It will guide you. Aaron reached out as if to stop her. Wait, don't go yet, I still have so many questions. But her form flickered and in a blink, she was gone. The room was quiet again. The lamp burned steadily, the curtains stilled, and the only sound was Aaron's fast breathing. He looked at the glowing crystal on his desk. It pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Aaron sat back on his bed, his mind spinning. His life had changed, in an instant. He was no longer just a boy who dreamed of stars. He was now part of something far greater, something dangerous, something terrifying, but also something important. That night, he did not sleep. He sat by the window staring at the sky. For the first time, he did not just wonder if someone was out there. He knew, and he knew they were coming. Next morning, sunlight filled his room. The crystal still glowed faintly on the desk, proof that it had not been a dream. Aaron picked it up carefully. It felt warm in his hand. His mother knocked on the door. Aaron, breakfast. Aaron quickly hid the crystal in his drawer. Coming, he called back. At the table, everything looked normal. His parents talking, his younger sister playing with her food. But Aaron felt different. He watched them, wondering how they would react if they knew what he had seen. He wanted to tell them, but he knew they would not believe. On his way to school, he kept touching the crystal hidden in his pocket. Its faint warmth reminded him that it was real. He thought about Lyra's words. Others will be chosen. Who were they? Where were they? At school, Aaron could not focus. The teacher spoke, his classmates laughed, but his thoughts drifted to the stars. When the bell rang, his best friend Rami walked beside him. You've been acting strange, Rami said. Did something happen? Aaron hesitated. He wanted to tell him everything, but fear held him back. What if Rami left? What if he told others? Nothing, Aaron said quickly. Just tired. But inside, he wondered if maybe Rami was one of the others Lyra had spoken of. Maybe one day, he would have to tell him. That night, Aaron sat at his desk again, the crystal glowing softly in the dark. He opened his notebook and began to write. The alien girl came. Her name is Lyra. She said danger is coming. She gave me the crystal. I don't know what to do, but I said yes. I said I'll try. He closed the notebook and placed it beside the crystal. Then he whispered to the empty room, I'll try. The crystal pulsed once as if answering him. The night after the strange arrival, Aaron could not rest. He lay awake in his bed, eyes fixed on the ceiling, trying to understand what had happened. The alien girl had appeared suddenly, spoken about secrets, and vanished like a shadow. His mind was filled with questions. Who was she? Why had she chosen him? And what kind of danger was coming from the stars? Morning came with a pale light entering his small room. The world outside looked normal, but inside Aaron felt the weight of something large. He dressed quickly, grabbed his notebook, and began to write down every detail he remembered. The girl's glowing eyes, her calm but serious voice, and her words, Your world is not ready, but it will be forced to choose. Those words echoed in his mind. At school, Aaron acted quiet. His friends laughed and talked about games and classes, but Aaron's thoughts drifted far away. He imagined ships in the sky, planets burning, and civilizations falling. He wondered if humanity had any chance against what might come. He wanted to forget, but he couldn't. That afternoon, when Aaron returned home, something unexpected was waiting. On his desk, right where the girl had sat, the night before lay a small object. It looked like a silver crystal shaped like a teardrop. He picked it up and it glowed faintly in his hand. His heart beat faster. He looked around the room, but no one was there. The crystal pulsed once, and suddenly a voice filled the room. It was her voice again, but softer this time. Do not be afraid. This is a memory stone. It carries knowledge of my people. It will show you the truth. Aaron almost dropped the stone in shock. He held it tightly and whispered, "Who are you really?" The voice continued, "I am Lyra. I come from a world far away. Our people have watched humanity for centuries. Now the Watchers are no longer safe. An ancient enemy has returned. They move silently and soon they will arrive." Aaron's throat felt dry. "Why me?" he asked. "Because you listen," the voice replied. "Because you can believe." The crystal glowed again, and suddenly images filled the room. Aaron saw stars swirling, great ships traveling through endless space, and planets covered in forests and oceans. Then the scene changed. He saw dark machines tearing worlds apart, massive fleets crushing defenses, and alien cities burning under strange weapons. He felt the weight of destruction, as if he could almost hear the screams of unknown voices. The vision ended, leaving Aaron gasping for air. He fell back on his chair, the crystal still glowing in his hand. The voice of Lyra spoke once more. "This is what is coming. They are called the Valor. They do not ask. They take. And now they search for new worlds." Aaron shook his head. "But what can I do? I'm just a student. I don't have power. I don't even know how to fight." "You are not alone," Lyra said. "Others will be chosen too. You must find them. Together you will stand or your world will fall." The voice faded, and the crystal turned dark again like a piece of simple glass. Aaron sat in silence, his hands trembling. The normal world outside his window, the sound of cars, the laughter of children, the smell of food, suddenly felt fragile, as if it all could vanish at any moment. That night, Aaron made a choice. He placed the crystal in his pocket and decided he could not ignore this. If what Lyra said was true, then humanity was walking into danger without knowing it. He could not explain everything to others, not yet, but he had to start somewhere. The next day, during lunch, he spoke quietly to his closest friend, Rami. "I need to tell you something," Aaron said. Rami raised an eyebrow. "What's wrong with you lately? You look like you've seen a ghost." Aaron lowered his voice. "Not a ghost, something else. I saw someone. She wasn't human. And she left me something." Rami laughed at first, but when Aaron pulled out the crystal, the laughter stopped. The crystal pulsed faintly again, as if alive. Rami touched it, and for a second his eyes widened. "It's warm, and it's glowing. What is this?" Aaron looked at his friend seriously. "It's proof. Aliens are real, and they say something dangerous is coming." Rami leaned closer, whispering, "If this is real, then we can't tell anyone. They'll lock us up, but maybe we can find out more." That evening, the two of them sat in Aaron's room, staring at the crystal. They tried to activate it again, but it remained silent. Then suddenly the room grew cold. A faint shimmer appeared in the air, and Lyra's figure appeared once more. She looked at both boys with calm eyes. "You have chosen to listen," she said. "Good. But time is short. The Valor have already entered your system. Their scouts hide in your skies." Rami jumped up, almost falling from his chair. "What? They're here? Right now?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes. Humanity is not yet aware. Their machines hide beyond your moon, waiting for the signal to strike." Aaron felt his chest tighten. "What do we do? Tell the leaders? Tell the army?" "They will not believe you," Lyra answered. "Even if they did, their weapons are weak against the Valor. But there is another way. A place hidden on your world holds technology left by my people. If you can find it, you may have a chance." Rami whispered, "This is crazy, we're just kids." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. "Every great defense begins with someone who chooses to stand, no matter how small they are." Then, as quickly as she appeared, Lyra vanished again. The crystal pulsed softly like a heart still beating. Aaron and Rami stared at each other, both frightened and amazed. They knew their lives had changed forever. That night, Aaron wrote in his notebook again, The enemy is already here. We must find the hidden place. I am not alone anymore. He closed the book, placed the crystal beside his bed, and tried to sleep. But deep inside, he felt the weight of the stars pressing down on him. The future of his world was no longer a distant dream. It was here waiting, and it was dangerous. The next morning, Aaron woke up with a heavy heart. The sun was shining outside, birds sang, and life looked normal, but he could not enjoy it. He remembered Lyra's words. "Their scouts hide beyond your moon." Those words gave him chills. The enemy was already here, watching. Humanity went on with daily life, not knowing the danger that waited above. Aaron placed the crystal in his pocket and walked to school. Rami joined him halfway, looking nervous. "Aaron," Rami whispered, "I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those machines you told me about. I think we should do something." Aaron nodded. "We don't have a choice. Lyra said there's a place hidden on our world. We have to find it." "But how?" Rami asked. "We don't know where it is. We don't even know if she will appear again." Aaron touched the crystal in his pocket. "Maybe she will guide us." At school they acted normal, but inside both boys felt restless. When classes ended, they went straight to Aaron's house. They locked the door, pulled out the crystal, and placed it on the desk. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, faint light filled the room, and Lyra appeared again. Her figure glowed softly, and her voice was calm. "You are ready to take the first step?" Aaron leaned forward. "Where is this hidden place you spoke of?" Lyra raised her hand. A star map appeared in the air. It showed Earth glowing bright, and then a line pointing toward a distant region. The map zoomed closer until it showed a chain of mountains. Snow covered their peaks, and valleys stretched below. "This place," Lyra said, "is in your northern lands. Beneath the ice, my people built a vault long ago. It holds technology powerful enough to help your world. But the way is dangerous. The Valor may sense your movement." Rami's eyes widened. "A vault? Like a treasure buried under the ice?" "Yes," Lyra answered. "But more than treasure. It is a beacon of hope. You must reach it before the Valor find it." The vision faded, leaving only the glowing crystal on the desk. Rami turned to Aaron. "Are we really doing this? We can't just walk into the mountains? We're kids." Aaron looked serious. "We have to try. If we don't, no one will. Humanity has no idea what's coming." That night, Aaron packed a small bag. He put in food, a flashlight, a map, and a notebook. He tucked the crystal safely inside. His heart beat fast as he imagined the journey ahead. Rami came early the next morning. With his own backpack. "Are you ready?" Rami asked. Aaron nodded. "Let's go." They took a train north, pretending it was just a trip for fun. The train moved through fields and forests, carrying them farther from their homes. Both boys stared out the windows, silent most of the time. Each of them thought about their families, about the life they were leaving behind for something unknown. By evening, they reached a small town near the mountains. The air was cold and snow covered the ground. They bought warm clothes from a local shop and rented a small cabin to stay the night. The cabin was old but cozy, with a small fire burning in the stove. As they sat near the fire, Rami whispered, "Do you think we can really do this? What if we freeze? What if the vault doesn't even exist?" Aaron pulled out the crystal. It glowed faintly in his hand. "It exists. I can feel it. And Lyra said we have to reach it before the enemy does." That night, Aaron dreamed again. His dream, he saw Lyra standing in the snow. She reached out her hand and pointed to a cave hidden by ice. Her eyes glowed brighter than before. "Do not stop. Do not turn back. You carry the hope of your kind." When Aaron woke up, he told Rami about the dream. "I think she showed me where to go," Aaron said. The next day they began climbing. The mountains rose high, white and sharp against the sky. The air grew thinner as they walked. Their feet sank in snow, and their breath came out in white clouds. They followed the old map and Aaron's memory of the dream. Hours passed. The climb was hard, but they pushed forward. When the sun began to set, they saw something strange in the distance. A faint glow, like light reflecting off ice, but warmer, almost alive. There, Aaron said, pointing. That must be it. They reached a narrow path that led into a deep valley. The glow grew brighter as they walked. Finally, they stood before a wall of ice. At first it looked solid, but then the crystal in Aaron's pocket began to shine. The ice trembled, and slowly a doorway appeared, carved with strange symbols. Rami gasped. It's real. This is the vault. The doorway opened with a low sound, and inside was a tunnel of glowing blue walls. The air was warmer, and the light came from the walls themselves. The boys stepped inside, their footsteps echoing softly. The tunnel led to a wide chamber filled with machines. Strange shapes hung from the ceiling, and tall structures stood like silent guardians. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal. Aaron walked toward it, and the crystal began to pulse faster. He placed the crystal on the pedestal. Suddenly, the machines came to life. Lights flashed, and symbols danced across the walls. A hologram appeared, this time not just of Lyra, but of her whole people. They looked tall with glowing eyes and graceful features. Their voices joined together like music. You have found the vault, the voices said. You are the chosen, keepers of hope. Take what you need and prepare. A panel opened, revealing a device shaped like a small sphere. It glowed with shifting colors as if holding the light of a star inside. Rami stared in awe. What is it? Lyra's voice answered. It is a shield core. With it, you can protect your world from the first strike of the Valor, but it must be placed in the right place high above your world. Aaron picked up the sphere. It was warm in his hands, and he felt power flowing through it. He knew this was no ordinary object. This was something that could change everything. But before they could speak further, the ground shook. A low rumble filled the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. The crystal pulsed urgently. Lyra's voice grew sharp. They have found you. The Valor know you are here. Aaron and Rami looked at each other, fear in their eyes. Their journey had only just begun, but already the enemy was close. Aaron gripped the sphere tightly and whispered, We can't fail. We have to protect our world. The vault lights flared brighter, as if answering his words. The true battle was about to begin. The chamber shook again, stronger this time. Aaron and Rami grabbed onto the pedestal to keep their balance. The glowing machines around them flickered, and a loud humming sound echoed through the vault. They are coming, Lyra's voice said, urgently. You must leave now. Take the shield core and escape. Aaron placed the glowing sphere carefully inside his backpack. The light from it shone through the fabric, making it look as though he carried a small sun on his back. His heart pounded in his chest. He turned to Rami. We can't waste time, let's move. The boys ran down the glowing tunnel toward the icy entrance. The ground shook again, and parts of the ceiling cracked. Small pieces of stone fell around them. When they finally reached the doorway, the snow outside was glowing with a strange red light. Rami's eyes widened. That's not the sunset, is it? Aaron shook his head. No, that's them. Above the mountains, dark shapes moved in the sky. They were not planes. Their edges were sharp, their bodies silent, and their eyes glowed with red light. The Valor had arrived. Run, Aaron shouted. They scrambled down the snowy slope, their feet slipping on ice. Behind them, beams of red light cut through the air, striking the mountain. Explosions shook the ground, sending chunks of ice and rock crashing down. The vault door sealed itself, vanishing into the wall of ice as if it had never been there. They're trying to destroy it, Rami yelled. But we already have what we need, Aaron said, gripping his backpack tightly. That's why they're after us now. The boys ran into the forest at the base of the mountains. The tall trees gave them cover, but they could still see the dark ships above. They moved silently, scanning the ground below. We can't outrun them forever, Rami whispered, trying to catch his breath. Aaron touched the crystal in his pocket. Lyra, help us. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the crystal pulsed and Lyra's voice returned. Follow the river. It will hide your heat signature from their scanners. Keep moving south. Without hesitating, Aaron and Rami turned toward the sound of rushing water. They slid down a snowy bank until they reached a frozen river. Cracks in the ice allowed water to flow underneath. They stepped onto the icy surface and began following its path. Above, the red lights passed back and forth, but the ship seemed to lose track of them. It's working, Rami whispered, relief in his voice. But Aaron knew this was only the beginning. The Veiler had seen them. They would not stop until they had the shield core. After hours of walking, exhausted and freezing, they reached a small cave by the riverbank. They crawled inside, lit a small fire, and huddled together for warmth. Rami rubbed his hands near the flames. Aaron, I'm scared. We're just two kids. How can we fight machines that can destroy whole worlds? Aaron pulled the shield core from his bag. The glow lit up the cave, casting soft colors on the stone walls. Because this isn't just about us. It's about everyone. If we don't try, no one will. And then Earth will fall without even knowing why. For a long time, the only sound was the crackling of the fire. Finally, Rami nodded slowly. All right. Then we don't give up. That night, Aaron dreamed again. He stood on the surface of space, Earth floating behind him. Lyra appeared, her eyes glowing brighter than stars. You carry the hope of your people now, she said. But the shield core must be placed high above Earth where it can protect your world. You cannot do this alone. Others must join you. Where do I find them? Aaron asked. They are already looking for the truth, Lyra replied. Follow the signs. Trust your heart. When Aaron woke, the fire had burned low. Rami was still asleep, curled under his blanket. Aaron held the crystal in his hand, thinking about Lyra's words. Others must join you. By morning, they left the cave and continued south. The forest grew thicker, and soon they found a road leading toward the nearest town. As they walked, they saw normal life again. Cars moving, people working, children laughing. Nobody knew the danger hiding above the clouds. It feels strange, Rami said softly. All these people living their lives, not knowing what's coming. Aaron nodded. That's why we have to protect them. In the town, they went to a small library to rest. Aaron used the old computers to search for anything unusual, sightings of strange lights, strange signals, anything that might connect to the Veiler. To his surprise, he found an online group of people discussing mysterious shadows in the sky. Some wrote about red lights above the mountains, others about strange signals on radios. Most people laughed at them, calling them dreamers or liars. But Aaron felt a spark of hope. Look, he showed Rami. These people already suspect something. Maybe they're the ones Lyra spoke about. They sent a message to the group, careful not to reveal too much. We have seen them too. We know they are real. We need to meet. Hours later, a reply came. If you are serious, come to the old factory outside the city tonight. Bring proof. Rami looked nervous. This could be a trap. Aaron nodded. Or it could be our only chance. That night, they followed the directions to the old factory. The building was dark and broken, windows shattered, walls covered with rust. They stepped inside carefully. Hello, Aaron called out. From the shadows, 3 figures appeared. They were older than Aaron and Rami, maybe in their late teens or early 20s. One was tall with a serious face, another wore glasses, and the third carried a backpack full of tools. You're the ones who sent the message? The tall one asked. Yes, Aaron replied. He pulled the crystal from his pocket and its glow filled the room. The strangers gasped, their eyes wide. You're not lying, the one with glasses whispered. It's real. Aaron nodded. And there's more. He pulled out the shield core, its light shining like a star. This can protect Earth, but the enemy is already here. We need help. The tall one stepped forward, his face hard. Then we'll help you. You're not the only ones who want to fight. At that moment, Aaron felt hope rising inside him. He and Rami were no longer alone. The fight for Earth had just grown stronger. But outside the factory, hidden in the night sky, a Valor scout ship hovered silently. Its red eyes glowed as it watched the meeting below. The enemy now knew where the Chosen had gathered. The shadows in the sky were no longer waiting. They were preparing to strike. The abandoned factory was quiet, but inside it buzzed with nervous energy. Aaron, Rami, and their new allies sat around an old table, the shield core glowing in the center like a tiny sun. The strangers introduced themselves. The tall one was Malik, the one with glasses was Sana, and the one with tools was Jonah. Malik crossed his arms. We've been watching the skies for years. We knew something was out there, but nobody believed us. Now you've given us proof. Sana adjusted her glasses. If this shield core is as powerful as you say, then it's the key. But how do we use it? Aaron touched the crystal in his pocket. It pulsed and Lyra's voice filled the room. The shield core must be placed in orbit high above your world. Only then can it spread its power and protect Earth. But you must be quick. The Valor are already moving against you. Jonah leaned forward, his hands on the table. So we need a way to launch it into space. That's not exactly something kids can do. Aaron looked serious. We don't have to do it alone. There are launch sites, rockets. If we can reach one and place the core inside, it could work. The group exchanged nervous glances. Malik finally spoke. There's a government space center 2 days from here. It has rockets ready for tests. If we can get in, we can send the shield core into orbit. Rami's eyes widened. Break into a space center? That sounds impossible. Sana gave a small smile. So does carrying alien technology in your backpack, but here we are. Everyone laughed softly, breaking the tension. But outside the factory, in the silent night sky, the Valor scout ship watched. Its red eyes glowed, and it sent a signal into the darkness of space. The next morning, the group set out together. They traveled in Malik's old van, moving through back roads to avoid attention. The shield core was hidden inside Aaron's bag, glowing faintly. On the road, Aaron stared out the window, his mind racing. He thought about his family, his school, his quiet life before all this. Everything had changed so quickly. Now he was part of something far bigger than himself. Rami tapped his shoulder. Do you think we can really do this? Aaron nodded slowly. We have to. If we fail, Earth won't have a chance. By nightfall, they reached the outskirts of the space center. Tall fences surrounded it and floodlights swept across the grounds. Rockets stood in the distance, their tall bodies glowing under the lights. Malik parked the van in the trees. We'll have to move carefully. Guards are everywhere. Sana studied the layout through binoculars. There's a service tunnel. That leads inside. If we can reach it, we might slip past the guards. Jonah pulled tools from his bag. Leave the locks to me. The group moved silently across the dark ground, keeping low to avoid the lights. They reached the tunnel entrance, and Jonah quickly unlocked it. The metal door creaked open and they slipped inside. The tunnel was narrow and cold. Water dripped from the ceiling as they walked. Finally, they reached the main building. They peeked through a grate and saw the rocket towering above them, ready for launch. Aaron felt hope rise in his chest. We're close, he whispered. But then, the crystal pulsed violently in his pocket. Lyra's voice filled his mind. They are here. A loud alarm blared through the space center. Red lights flashed and guards shouted. But it was not the group they were chasing. Outside, the night sky tore open with fire. Valor ships descended, their black bodies glowing red. Beams of energy struck the ground, sending explosions across the center. The guards screamed and scattered. They're attacking, Rami shouted. Malik clenched his fists. Then this is our chance. While they fight the guards, we move. The group rushed into the launch area. Chaos surrounded them, sirens, fire, explosions. The Valor ships hovered overhead, blasting buildings. Aaron's eyes locked onto the rocket. That's it, he said. We have to get the shield core inside. They sprinted toward the rocket. Jonah hacked into the control panel, his fingers moving fast. I can open the hatch, he said, but it'll take time. Aaron pulled out the shield core. It glowed brighter than ever, as if it knew the moment had come. Above, a Valor ship spotted them. Its red eye glowed, and it aimed a weapon directly at the group. Move! Malik shouted, pushing Aaron out of the way. The ground exploded where they had stood, throwing them backward. Aaron coughed, gripping the shield core tightly. He saw the ship charging again. For a moment, fear froze him. But then he remembered Lyra's words. Every great defense begins with someone who chooses to stand. Aaron raised the crystal high. It pulsed, and suddenly a shield of blue light formed above them. The Valor blast hit it and scattered, leaving the group unharmed. Everyone stared in shock. Rami gasped. Aaron, you controlled it. Aaron lowered the crystal, his hand shaking. No. It listened to me. Jonah finally unlocked the hatch. Go, now. Aaron climbed into the rocket, carefully placing the shield core inside the central chamber. As soon as it touched the machinery, the rocket systems came alive. Lights flashed, engines roared. Outside, the Valor ships realized what was happening. They fired together, beams of red light striking the launch pad. The ground shook violently. Launch it, Malik shouted. Now! Sana ran to the control panel and slammed her hand on the button. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The Valor fired again, tearing through metal and stone. 7, 6, 5. Aaron held onto the railing as the rocket engines ignited. Flames burst and the rocket began to rise. 4, 3, 2. The Valor ships dived to stop it, but the shield around the rocket expanded, glowing blue. Their blasts hit it and bounced away. 1. Liftoff. The rocket roared into the sky, carrying the shield core higher and higher. The Valor ships chased it, but the blue shield grew stronger, forcing them back. Aaron, Rami, and the others watched in awe as the rocket disappeared into the clouds. Then, silence. Moments later, the sky lit up. A wave of blue energy spread across the heavens, wrapping Earth in a glowing shield. The Valor ships smashed against it, their weapons useless. One by one, they turned and fled into the darkness of space. The group stood together, eyes wide with relief. Sana whispered, We did it. Rami laughed weakly. We really did it. Aaron clutched the crystal in his hand. Lyra's voice echoed softly. You have saved your world, for now. The Valor will return, stronger than before. But today, humanity has shown it will not bow. Today, you stood. The crystal dimmed, but Aaron felt no fear. He looked at his friends, then at the glowing shield in the sky. For the first time, he believed Earth had a chance.